thanks for having me on, guys. This is awesome. I love gear, love talking all about it. So yeah, this is going to be really fun.
A lot of this equipment we're talking about it can be used for musicians and content creators in general, if you're a YouTuber.
And I've shot probably 90% of my show on this little camera.
I love you guys. Chris, you're just amazing. Jim, so are you. You guys are the best hosts ever, I think.
Just stop, please.
What's up, and welcome to Dealcasters Live. And normally, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Amazon, but today we're not choosing to go live on Amazon, and we'll kind of get into that maybe a little bit later. But we're excited because we've got a guest to talk about and a very specific topic that we do want to talk about today. My name is Chris Stone. I'm at Castahead at castahead.net, and my partner in crime on the left side of your screen doing marketing the Marine Corps way, Mr. Jim Fuse of Fusion Marketing. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing great, and you're right. It's a little strange not to be playing around with the Amazon app to make sure we're going live and putting stuff in the carousel. But yeah, one of the reasons why we have other channels outside of Amazon, and we encourage others as well that are maybe on YouTube. If you're watching us live on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, if you're talking about products and, or you're interviewing authors that are selling books on, on Amazon, why wouldn't you consider Amazon Live? And great to see our friends Phil and Lem couldn't make it today because he's busy working for the man, but we do see that he's able to tune in a little bit. Great to see Ryan Swanstrom as well. And see, this is something we can do because we're not on Amazon today. But we want to talk about one of the things we're planning to start doing more of is we want to teach others how they can get found, get more, just synergy with their channels. And so we've got a great guest today that's going to help us talk about that, because we've definitely learned some stuff from him as well. And that's DJ Mastermind, or as we, AKA Chris P Giles, or is it the other way around? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited because most of the band is back together, Jim. It's kind of like if they announced a Beatles reunion, like back when they were all alive. And like everybody but Ringo, showed up. That's kind of like what it is. He's like, I don't know, would you be John and I'd be Paul, and Chris P would be George and Lem would be Ringo?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, we'll have to figure that out later.
We'll create a poll.
Right. So Ryan Swanstrom over on LinkedIn, appreciate you tuning in. We're not on Amazon today. We are not on Amazon. And ironically enough, we're talking about .live domains today. And if you were to go to dealcasters.live, don't right now, because you'll be jumping off of this actual live. We use that to send people to our actual Amazon live show. So we're going to get into that here in just a few seconds when we introduce our special guest. And so before we do that, we're going to do this really quickly. So we're going to be talking about .live or .shop, which is another thing, .academy, .university. We bought all these domains for less than $2 because we want to be able to use that to send people where we feel like is an effective way to send them. So if you want to go to our live show, it's our show.live. If you want to go to our shop, it's our show.shop. If you want to go to something where you can learn, it's .academy or .university. And there's a whole bunch of things. There's a whole bunch of conceptions about what is a .com versus what is a other things. And we're going to cover that on a lot of things. But I thought, Jim, one of the first things we should do is just kind of let everybody know, and we'll have it scrolling along the bottom as well. This is the deal that we have got going. It's name.com/live. The promo code is get live, one word, get live, and it's $1.99 to get your .live domain. And somebody that I think, Jim, does a great job of maximizing his .live because he's been an Amazon content creator maybe as long as us. maybe longer. We'll get into that. But once he found out that he could take that hieroglyphics long URL that Amazon gives you and turn it into techtalkwithchris.live, that really turned into something that he basically leaned into it, and he's going live every day on Amazon. He's seeing the benefits of that. So, Jim, I'd like to introduce, if we could, without further ado, if you will, our brother, a member of the Amazon Live Bros, of course, and also known as a DJ Mastermind, our friend, Mr. Chris P Giles. Oh,
look at that! He brought out the merch.
I had to call my wife to go get it real quick. I was like, I can't be on the show without having the shirt. I'm like, I need it.
I saw you disappear backstage. I was like, uh-oh, maybe he has backed out.
Oh, all good, man. What's going on, guys? How are you, man?
Great to see you, Chris.
Man. Yeah, it is good to see you, man. It is good to see you. By the way, awesome job at Podfest Masterclass. It was like one of those things where I was watching it. I was like, Jim, we got to follow this guy. We got to follow this guy. We better bring it. We better bring it. So that was awesome, man. I hope you felt great about it as well. But I thought you did a great job, man.
Hey, I totally appreciate that, man. I told him I was just going to follow you guys around the internet wherever you guys pop up. It must be the right place. So I'm going to be there too. So
well, we're gonna have to talk to you. We may have something for you here in a few months. Chris, that you may be interested in. So we'll definitely be talking more about that. Yeah, and shout out to my co-host of the Tim and Jim show, Tim Sohn. And we actually bought timandjim.live, which we're now using as a redirect. Nice. And we also now have timandjim.show, because that's another thing you can consider. So but yeah. So Chris P, tell us tell us about your show, for one. Tell us why you chose to get involved in Amazon.
Man, well, the show is Tech Talk with Chris .live, and honestly, man, it was. I've been spending. I feel like all the time I've spent on social media, I've been kind of looking for that that one thing, right? That YouTube. I feel like Amazon Live is that YouTube 10 years ago feel, where it's almost like, it feels like the Wild West, but it's like the new thing. And if I jumped on the wave early enough, that I could ride that thing. So that's what, super excited about that. And that's kind of, obviously that's how we met, is jumping on that wave. Cause we see the same thing, man.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think, cause Chris and I, or Chris Stone, right? Cause I got two Chris's here. I'll just say the Stone man and I have,
you can call me Stone or Stoner. A lot of people call me Stone or Stoner. So
we're not going to call you a stoner, cause that implies that you do something illegal.
Well, we're not on Amazon, so we can say that word.
Right?
Yeah,
exactly. Kicked off?
Well, I don't know. We're on YouTube. I don't know what YouTube's rules are. But
demonetized.
But I think part of the whole thing is, as we've talked about, right? I've got another couple YouTube channels, and even putting content out there consistently to get to that monetization level, even though there's other ways to monetize, right? And we've talked about that. Sure, you can put a affiliate link from Amazon in your description or your podcast show notes, but do people really click on it, and how, and then they got to find you, right? If you don't have thousands of subscribers, it's not going to happen. And so I'm with you, DJ Mastermind 100%, in that this is, who would have thought, right, that this would have, in a sense, this opportunity would be given to us, and it's still available for so many other creators. But it's sometimes you feel like, oh, well, I've been working so hard at YouTube, I can't stop, because somehow I'm going to get all this Google money or something. I'm still not sure what it is exactly.
Yeah, man, that's the crazy part, is that, like, look, it's just another place. Like, if you're already creating content, how easy is it to just go? And honestly, I beg to say that it's easier to go live on Amazon Live, because you're not worried about the thumbnails, and you're not worried about what's the title have to be. We're literally like, I love the analogy you guys always use. We're in the shopping mall. Everybody's already there. All we're doing is drawing attention to it. And it's like, hey, just look at the whirly bird thing that I'm showing you right now, but you're already here.
Right.
So I just need to say, hey, you already got money. You're here because you got money.
Here, have my whirly bird.
Right.
Yeah.
Buy my whirly bird.
Well, so Chris, you had see, I can say Chris, and you know who I'm talking to, Jim. I have that advantage over you today. It feels great. So Chris, you first and foremost, before you went live on Amazon, you had established yourself as someone in tech and gaming, as someone that has consulted, had worked, and sort of like from a tech perspective ran sound and probably lighting and video for churches and other companies. And so was it how easy was it for you, or how hard was it for you to say, okay, I'm already doing this for myself, either on YouTube or maybe as a side hustle for a main job, and then sort of like moving into what you're doing on Amazon, because you're not just going through and talking about microphones, and you do have that sort of like tech stuff, but you're also doing stuff on the gaming front as well. So kind of, maybe let's talk a little bit about you and sort of pre-Amazon into what is the show today.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, honestly, it's pre 2020, right? Before that, I was live event. So I was doing audio for live events. I'm in churches. I'm in political events. I was actually based up in the DC area right before that. So I've been through multiple presidents, and I've done multiple of the senators and that kind of stuff, and that's where I came from. And so, and then the gaming, honestly, was just a hobby. I've been gaming since I was a kid. I'm talking like my brothers had Atari. I was a baby trying to play that thing. And so when this opportunity, I mean, even the way I stumbled across this opportunity was like I knew YouTube was a thing, and so I stumbled, from my friend Monty. We kind of reconnected when I started live streaming on Facebook, and he's like, "No, you should check out YouTube, man. Like you kind of, I won't say you're wasting your time on Facebook, but like if you're not going after a specific goal on Facebook, YouTube's the way." And so I end up in his YouTube class, and then he whispers, "Hey, you should check out Amazon Live, but like don't like leave, but like check it out." And of course I jumped in and was like, "Oh, I love this because I love live." I hate sitting down trying to record a 15-minute video because it takes me 2 hours, right? I go live for an hour, man. It's done and it's over. It's in the bag. So it was pretty easy because it's just teaching the stuff that I was doing every day.
Yeah, that's what I noticed about your show in particular. And when Jim and I first started, and July, August of 2020, when we started with Dealcasters, the first thing I noticed with your show, there was a lot of people that were just kind of talking about products, but you were actually you were engaging with people in the chat. They were telling you their budget. They were saying, what about this mic? What about that mic? And if you had the mic or if you had the equipment, you were talking through it, but you were also talking from, like historically, like I've used this mic here, or I've done this. And if you're using this for gaming, you're probably going to want to. And so I think for people like yourself, Amazon is like, you are the true expert of whatever you're talking about. And that's really what Amazon Live is about, is like, okay, I'm looking for a headset that I can use for gaming, or I'm looking for a microphone for podcasting. And if they go and they see you and they go, I like the way that I like this guy, and they click, all of a sudden you're like, it's like somebody walked up to you and you were in Costco and you were demonstrating something. You become the expert that people can talk to, and you're leading them right to the shopping cart. I think it's almost like, for someone like yourself, it's like a ready-made platform for you. So for YouTube, you had worked with Monty. Shout out to Monty Weaver and one of the admins for the Facebook group, as you and Melody are as well. Did you sort of like, I'm gonna kind of put YouTube on the back burner, or did you leave it completely behind? Are you still sort of making that effort to monetize and keep yourself making money there, or has Amazon is YouTube in your rear view at this point?
Man, I I like to think that one day I'll get back to my YouTube channel. Like it's on this long list of things to do. But like, I mean, one of the things we always talk about, on the back end is just like I got in and was able to make money on the first stream.
Right.
And I mean, YouTube is just so much. And again, not that I care about hard work. Like I'll put the hard work in, but like, I mean, if I can go left and make $100 and go right and make $100 20 days from now, I'm gonna go get the money now. and then we'll come back to the other thing. And so honestly, again, the live portion is kind of what builds it for me.
Mm.
And then the fact that it's a built-in audience, man. Like I don't have to convince people to come. I don't have to trick them with the titles and figure out SEO and all that. Like, hey, if you are on the website trying to buy a microphone, I'm talking about microphones. I show up. And then you come ask me about the microphones, and then I can give you real world advice. And there's obviously the skate ways to say it, but I've told people, hey, don't buy that one, buy this one, because that's just the character of what I want you to have the right thing, because I don't want you to come back to a future stream and go, that guy, he sold me some snake oil, this thing didn't work. I want you to come back and go, I mean, that's why, you're talking about the mics. I switched this microphone. It started out as a sponsorship deal. And I was like, well, no, if I'm going to tell people about it, I need to use it.
Right.
And then if it breaks, then I'll stop using it. I'll be like, hey, it broke. It broke after whatever, So just being real, man. I love it.
Yeah, that's it. It's about being real. It's like Jim and I are the same way. It's like, we do get approached from a number of brands, and we actually have to end up, turning down more than we accept in terms of that, because we want to be sure that, like, first of all, I mean, there's a lot of things that can break down between, somebody emailing you and actually you doing the live. But one of the things is, like, if I haven't heard of the product, send me the product. And if I like it, then I will go live with it and talk about what I feel I like about it. Yeah. If I don't like it and you still want to pay me for it, I won't take your money. In fact, I will send the product back. Because I think it's great that you said that, because it shows your integrity. It's like, that's more important to you than to just take a quick maybe paycheck and get some free equipment that you can stack up and maybe not even use. Right.
Yeah.
And Chris P, I mean, you bring up a couple of really great points. I mean, it's like, as much as people, talk about YouTube, think how long it takes. Like, even right now, right? We're broadcasting to our YouTube channel, and we're not getting the thousands of viewers that we would normally get on an Amazon stream. And that's okay, right? Because, theoretically, we're going to go do some stuff with TubeBuddy, and we'll get some SEO to get people maybe to come watch this later. But, it goes back to when we're on Amazon, right? Those people are there. They're saying, oh, this stream that, Chris P Giles is doing right now is related to this product I'm thinking about. I can go actually ask him live. You're not worrying about, like, oh, do I have the perfect thumbnail? I got to cut this and redo it, right? It's live. And even our friend Doc Rock, right? He talks about, he's gone all in on going live. Now he's going live on YouTube, but it kind of goes back to, I think people have become more forgiving and like the live environment, as opposed to what looks like it was scripted to perfection, like nothing is wrong and everything is perfect. And, when I think about what people go through sometimes to create, even a TikTok or a short, I'm like scratching my head like, oh, okay. I don't know that I had the patience for that. Maybe it's because I'm, maybe I'm a grumpy old man. I just don't know it yet.
No, you're not a grumpy old man. It's the easiest way to be real. And, like, I mean, honestly, coming up, right? And I know, Chris, you're related in the fact that you've been in the music world, right? I grew up wanting to be in the music world. I grew up wanting to be a studio engineer. And I honestly kind of fell into live events. And though in the beginning I was like, man, in the studio you got days. You can sit with that thing for days and just keep plugging at it and all that, right? The live, like, we got to run through, and it's live, and it is what it is.
Yep.
And when you've done it so long, you get to the point where, like, you're not immune to it. Like, stuff happens and it upsets you, but, like, you're just like, look, it's live. It happened. It was recorded. It's on the air. It is what it is. And then we move on. We go do the next live show, and it's just something about that rawness of
yes,
like that,
Excellent point. And I think it's actually going live as many times as I have in this past year. Actually, I have a real problem, and this sounds like I'm trying to be, whatever, but I have a perfectionism problem. Jim knows this. I will take too long on editing a podcast or putting a cover together or a thumbnail or whatever. It's like at some point I need to cut that cord. And this live thing, like you're talking about, if you the more you go through the reps of going live, the more confidence that you build in yourself, and the more you're overlooking some stuff. You know what? That happened. So what? It's live. Everyone knows it's live.
Right.
It's not the end of the world. I'm maybe the only one that will ever remember it. So forget it and move on, and everything moving forward. I love that's a great point. And I feel like too many people are so scared of going live because they're so scared of making a mistake, when you have to make mistakes so that when those mistakes happen in the future, you don't worry about it anymore.
Yeah. And then you don't do it again because you learned, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
what's the best way under fire? Let's light this thing on fire and see what happens.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I used to, it's still one of my biggest things, like, because I was in the military, right, where we don't really like mistakes. But if you have a good boss, right, obviously there's certain situations you don't want to have one mistake, especially like in a combat environment. But if it's not in combat, right, just don't make the same mistake twice, right? Learn from your mistakes.
Exactly.
And I think, even with things like, was the second time I think we went live on Amazon, one of the mistakes we made is we were all excited because StreamYard had gotten 1080p and we changed it to 1080, and there's nowhere in the Amazon manual that says you can't go live at 1080. And we hit go live, and I was like, your bit rate doesn't match. I'm like, what? And so then it's like we had to start completely over, because it's kind of like with all these other platforms. You go live on the platform first, then you go live on Amazon. So God bless our guest, Jennifer Watson, for having patience with us, because I think it took us 5 or 6 tries before we finally said, maybe we need to change from 1080 to 720.
Yep.
And I don't think we've made that mistake since. I think one time, but we caught it early. We had done something earlier, like, oh my gosh, this thing is set at 1080. Why? So, right, it becomes that checklist of make sure this, right? It becomes a routine, and you get better at it as you repeat the process. And I mean, heck, do you go live every day almost, Chris?
I've been trying to do Monday through Friday, but again, obviously if stuff comes up, I miss a few days. Like last week I was doing a couple of virtual conferences, so I missed a bunch of days, but I'm trying to do it that consistency, man, because honestly, it's fun for me. And
Oh yeah.
And I get paid while you're having fun, right?
Right.
Yeah, so let's so this is Chris P Giles storefront. So this is Tech Talk with Chris. Now, Chris, your .live is so, and it's right down here on the screen, Tech Talk with Chris.live. It actually doesn't lead to your storefront. And I think a lot of Amazon creators will say, what's your storefront?
Mm-hmm.
But you do the same thing that we do at Dealcasters, is you actually send them to a link that's right down here that is this view all my past live streams.
Yeah.
And you take that link right there, which takes you to the most recent live stream that you've done. Because what that does is, like, whatever the most recent show is that you're promoting, you can say, go to Tech Talk with Chris.live, and it goes directly to this page, which is your live stream. So, and for those that are watching, now, or listening from the podcast, the idea for Amazon content creators is you want them to Amazon. You want them not on Twitch. You don't want them on YouTube. You don't want them anywhere else but Amazon. Why? Because when they go here and they say, oh, here's this product that Chris just told me about that I want to buy. Yep. What I just did by clicking on that product, I now have a cookie that's associated with my account. So if I buy that, or I buy anything else, not just anything that Chris is talking about, yep, I will get a commission revenue. Or I'm sorry, Chris will get a commission revenue at no cost to me. It's the same cost, in this case, $12.97, as it would be, for anything else, except Chris gets, a percentage based on what type of product it is. But I love that you, and so this is, the advantage of for Dealcasters, and Chris, I'd love to hear from you on this as well, is the reason why we send them here and not the shop page is it's just an extra click.
Yeah.
And you want to serve people up an easy way to say, hey, go to techtalkwithchris.live and boom, you get them in. Now, if they want to go to your storefront, they can always click that link underneath your name, and it goes back to the storefront. But you want them at the show. You want them where the link is. And I think it's a brilliant look. Not only that, I don't know if you could see this on the screen right now, but that link up here is probably longer than my browser, really allows. It's ridiculous. You probably would never be able to say that anywhere else, and that's why we do the redirect. So I'd love to hear from you, Chris. Like, since you started doing the redirect, have you seen? Is it easier for you to maybe use that in like a clubhouse room or in socials? Like any benefit to using the .live for you?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Honestly, and first shout out to you guys, because honestly, it's the funniest thing ever. Is like I've built websites for people. I've been doing like stuff on web design for years.
Yeah.
And like when we were on that one stream and you guys were like, yeah, .live. And I just looked and I just had this baffled face of like, why didn't I think about, like, why have I been typing and copying this stupid address all these times? But I mean, it's a game changer of like, I can just say that. How easy is that to say? Like, that was the catch. You guys are like, Dealcasters.live. Boom. How do you forget that? techtalkwithchris.live. I'm like, all right, so you got to go to amazon.com/shop/Chris P Giles 1. And then you got to go to the bottom of the page and find it's just like, how simple is it? I mean, even like you're saying on social, I can type that on my stories. Even though you have like your link tree type stuff, and you have it in there, like it's still more memorable to just have it .live. It's just like, to me, it's a no-brainer just to jump to that. Like, why waste your time with anything else?
Do you think do you feel like it helps in credibility in a way? Because I feel like before we did our .live, we were constantly trying to explain to people where they could find it on Amazon. And you gotta, there's a live streams link that's up there. And if you click on that, or then we would give them a shop name, and it has to do with your social handle, whatever you've chosen to be approved. And it just, you see that look from people like, is this really a thing?
Is this real?
Yeah.
It's just like, man, you remember back in the day when like, back in the day when like .com was like the main thing. And if you did anything else, like .net, your website was .net, people would look at you like, do you even have a real business? Like, who does .net? Like, .org, okay, cool, you're probably a nonprofit, but like,
right.
And so like this is what we're doing. We're like, yo, we're live streamers. We live stream. Guess what?
That's
Our
right.
website is .live. And you go, oh, okay, I get it. I'm with it. Just like you were saying, the .store, the .shop, like it's this weird thing that it like adds a little more validity now. The .academy, like it's so weird. And it's just a subconscious thing, right? It's as simple as, when you do your email and you do, if you did Dealcasters at Gmail, it's different than if you did Chris at Dealcasters.com. It's just a slight subconscious thing of,
yes,
oh yeah, this is real, because you paid, and nobody knows that you paid $2 except for the fact that you're promoting it, right? Like, if you don't know business, you're like, man, these guys like paid for their name, like they're about this life. And so
that's why we call it the secret weapon,
bro.
It's $1.99 to just get a .live. To me, it was like, and it pays for itself. Like it's not even funny.
It's not funny.
If it went up in price to it does't matter. Like we take that and we put it everywhere. That we have a flywheel of content. I know, repurpose, and you do stuff on socials, and I know at Podfest you were talking about going live and creating your own podcast, and so all of that stuff. Like, that's just another spot to put that link. And it's another opportunity as an Amazon Live content creator to have somebody click that link, find that link and click it. And then they're in your ecosystem because they got there from you. And so you're getting that offsite commission. I think it's a 100% no brainer. It's why we bought .shop. It's why we bought .live. We bought some other, we don't even know what we're going to use some of these redirects for.
Yeah.
But you know, we know that, and we have used some ones that we were like, oh, well, we have a giveaway for some tickets for Podfest Masterclass. Oh, okay. Well, let's just redirect our Academy link because it's a master class. So let's just use that redirect. It's just a thing where you can it's really easy to kind of go in and say, all right, I want to send people, and it doesn't have to be Amazon, right? So if you want to build your YouTube channel, it's a lot easier for you to say, go to myshow.live than to say, go find me on YouTube, hit the subscribe and the bell so you can get reminded. Just say, go to myshow.live, and it could go to YouTube, it could go to Twitch, it could go wherever you really want it to go.
So true, man. Especially if you have like a generic name. Like I was joking. I don't know if you guys know Chris Williams. I think he's in the Amazon group as well.
Yes.
Like I'm looking for his YouTube channel, and you ever type in Chris Williams in a YouTube, like, some weird stuff comes up. Man. You're like, I don't think this is him. And so it's like it's that. But like
that's
you said,
a great point. And you both brought up something too that I wanted to go into a little bit more. And that is, and I've always, I won't say I'm amazed because it's something we all learn over time. But like when I first started my business, the first thing I did was buy a domain so that my email wasn't jim@gmail.com, because that in and of itself, it goes back to, like you said, am I going to go to somebody's, like we talk about these website examples or whatever, it just appears more professional, right? It's more professional when you're at, we have Jim and Chris at Dealcasters.live, as well as we even have a Dealcasters at Dealcasters.live, so that people, we get these emails and we're able to manage it, reply from our brand. And then the other piece of that is with YouTube, right? Until you get to 100, and even then it's still YouTube, and then you got to put a /C, and then here's my channel name. Well, what Tim Sohn and I just did is, if you go to timandjim.live, it takes you to our YouTube channel.
Nice.
Right? That it just click it, you're there. And then maybe they'll subscribe, but that's how you get the people to where you want them to go. And I think we recently, even with the Dot Academy, right? If you go to Dealcasters.academy, we have a video that teaches you how to become, or I shouldn't say become, but how to start the process of becoming an Amazon Live influencer.
Yeah.
And so this redirect stuff is great. And then I don't know, Chris, Chris P, if you've been looking, but I know we've noticed that from an SEO perspective, it has helped us. And I know there's people out there saying, oh, well, you've got to have a .com, but it's still getting them to that Amazon site. So when you go look at Dealcasters on Google, our Amazon show is usually either 1 or 2 in the rankings. And I think maybe it's 2 sometimes. I can't remember if it's Twitter or a podcast that sometimes they kind of go back and forth.
Nice.
Do you remember which one that is, Chris Stoner?
I don't, but I will tell you, when I Google from an incognito browser and I type in Chris P Giles, first thing that pops up is his Amazon page.
Bro, that's funny. It's so funny that you showed that. I literally was in a Clubhouse room this morning, and somebody said they were talking about looking at people's reputation and like, hey, I worked with this person and it was a horrible experience. And he goes, yeah, the first thing you should do is Google them. And I literally left and Googled myself because I was like, oh my gosh, what do I look like on there? And but this is a small thing, right? Chris Giles. It doesn't sound like a generic name, right? It actually is. There's like all these Chris Giles. So I was like, that's why I put the P in there. It's because how many Chris P Giles do you know? And that was like part of the branding. And people are like, wow, that's like, why do you do that? That's why. Because now look, when you look it up,
100%.
You're page 1, and did you see how many search results there were, Chris? At the top? It was a lot.
Yeah.
79 million.
And all of those are me. All those ones that you're looking, those are all mine.
We got a friend. He goes by and also has a .live, the Pitchman .live. We've got a friend, Dan Jordan, that one of the things he says about when you Google yourself, he says it's one thing if you Google yourself and you find out you're an axe murderer, not good. But what's worse is if you Google yourself and you find nothing.
Ooh.
So, I mean, okay, being an axe murderer is worse. But the point is, right? If you are someone, you've got to be found. And if you have a way to say, okay, I'm going to, put a levee in the river here, and I'm going to move all of the traffic over to me and make it easy. It's a no brainer, and it's obviously working for you, man. And it's, you know what, it's really cool to see as well. Just how this is done for you. Because I remember when I was, first watching I don't know how many followers you had, at that point. But now every time I jump on your streams, it's like, all the stars are flowing. Who knows if those are real? The chats flowing, and you're doing this every day. And I know you wouldn't do this every day unless you knew it was beneficial for you, not just financially, but for your business. And has it affected your? Because I know that this isn't your full-time job, Amazon Live necessarily. Yeah. You've got a lot of other revenue streams going on. Has it proven to be beneficial in terms of people finding you, or you getting business in other ways?
It's funny. Accidentally, yeah. Like obviously, I didn't go there looking for it, but I found a few people that like end up hitting me up offline and go, "Hey, I actually got on there to buy gear, to buy this live streaming gear." And one of them was like a major, U.S. periodical that hit me up, and she was like an event planner for them. And because 2020, she was having to figure out how to do online events, and she hits me and goes, "Can I just pay you to do it?" Well, absolutely.
Yes, you can.
Sure. Yeah, no Amazon link needed for that.
Yeah.
And but that opened my eyes to the idea of like, how do I actually just go ahead and start streamlining it and being like, and some of it is just language. When I'm talking, I'm always talking about my experience. Why I can even tell you about these products is because this is what I do for a living. Like this is when I get off Amazon Live, I'm going to go do a live stream for somebody else, or I'm going to go show, I tell you guys I'm coming to Atlanta at the end of the week. So I'm going to Atlanta to go help a church get their live stream going or get their event going. So now it's like, oh, there's credibility. He's not just on here playing. Like he's not just an influencer, right? Like he does this. So when I say I've used this equipment, I've used it in a real life situation, not just playing around in my studio. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. So have you thought about using or have you started using like the .shop, or have you thought about other names as a way to like direct more traffic to where you want people to go?
So it's funny. That's another one of those ahas that I knew and I didn't think about until you guys start talking about it again. I'm like, why am I only getting .lives? I got stuck on that because I was like, that's all I've been thinking about. And I'm like, oh, the .shop, because I can put them to the Amazon shop, or I can like honestly, I used to do subdomains all the time, was my big go-to. But honestly, just the whatever, because it's more, and they're more cost effective now. Because when I used to want to do it, I mean, those things were, $100 for a .live or a store. But it's so easy now, and it's like almost a no-brainer. Like,
well, and I think too, when you think about where I think the part of the power of this is even, so .live, right, makes you think, oh, I'm going to see something live, right? So even like events, as they start to come up, it's a great way to promote live events, right?
Oh, yeah.
Churches could even use a .live for their services. The .shop goes back to whether it's Amazon, or even if you're an Instagram or Facebook shop, right? Get people to the shop, because otherwise, as we know, when you're on some of these platforms, trying to find the call to action is a challenge. And, I think too, like we recently did with the Academy and the University, it registers in people's mind. This is what I'm going to get by going to this location. And then if you're able to brand it, why not? I mean, if I think, okay, if I go to Tech Talk with Chris .shop, I know I'm going to where he's got his stuff that he recommends I buy. It's that simple. I don't have to go type all this other stuff in there to get to it.
Yeah, that's so good, because you have me thinking like, and look, nobody knows this, but now your audience will. But like, I've been working on this side project where I want to help. I found a company that does live stream sales. If you have a Shopify website,
Mm-hmm.
And so what I've been working on with them is essentially selling their service, but then selling me as the producer of their show. And like what you guys are talking about is the amazing thing of like how crazy would that be? And I'm gonna throw this out there, not like obviously I'm gonna throw it out in the universe and hope it comes back. But you like a big brand like a Michael Kors or Dooney and Burke or some of these big fashion brands, right? And you go michaelkors.live, and then that's your live stream about your products on your website. Like, how game changer is that, especially if you already have a brand? You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
you may not be aware of this, Chris, and this is something that Chris Stone and I learned as we built this relationship with, name.com and donuts is Xbox.live, Cadillac.live.
mm,
There's already some of these big brands that are doing that, right? And
right.
it just makes it easy for people to go and consume the content that they want them to consume. And I just think the .live, right, just it gives you energy. It feels energetic. I mean, because sometimes, right, sure, .com is like the granddaddy of them all, but it's like we're not a business, we're not commerce, right? That's what it stood for. And I know you get the arguments from the SEO people, and we'll probably get some haters for me saying this, but Google's not saying anything about like, oh, what we give preferential treatment to .com over .live. It's not the case.
They're saying that is not the case. Yeah, it doesn't matter how long or short your URL is.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter if it's a .com or a .live or whatever. That is not a thing. And Google has said that. So, we hear that all the time, right? Oh, well, .coms get, well, there are more .coms quantifiably, for sure. And so you can say, well, more people are going to .coms. Well, duh. There's way more .coms.
Yeah.
But getting found is really what it's about. And like we could go buy Dealcasters.com if we wanted to, but somebody's squatting on it. Somebody went and bought it, and they've hiked up the price. Yeah. And we probably, we'll probably have to buy it because who knows? At some point we may, pay me now, pay me later kind of thing. Yeah. So we may have to bite the bullet and pay the, I don't know, $400 or something for it. That just hurts, buying something you might not use that somebody's just,
who's not using it either.
Yeah, they bought air, and now you got to buy their air.
That's how I feel about DJ Mastermind.com. If you guys ever find it,
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you.
It's like they're not even doing it, man. They're not.
Yeah, so I see DJ. Yep.
That's okay.
Got it. Well, man, this has been awesome, and it's if nothing else, getting 3 of the 4 Beatles, aka Amazon Live Bros, back together has been awesome. And Chris, I love your story. I love how you've taken what you were doing in terms of tech and what you were already doing, and then you've just kind of like found your way to maximize your brand, and you're obviously just a great person, and man, we appreciate you taking the time, man. And for those they're watching, go to techtalkwithchris.live, and if you have not been on Amazon, this is the best way to go there first, because this man is the first man that you should follow by going to Amazon Live. So go to techtalkwithchris.live and hit a follow button. It's in the upper left-hand corner. And when you follow Chris P Giles, you will get $1 million worth of great tech information that you can take for your remote production, for your podcast, for your gaming gear, whatever you need. But dude, this has been awesome, man. We so appreciate you taking the time and doing this for us.
I appreciate you guys, man. This is the first time, just for everybody to know, everybody's watching, this is the first time I've been invited to where it actually says Dealcasters Live. We've been on some other stuff together, but not with this logo. Okay?
Oh yeah, it's about time. Shame on us, man. Shame on us.
But and
it couldn't be that great because Lem decided.
Right, Lem's sitting in traffic. I think that's why he says he's sitting in it. But we'll have to have you on Dealcasters on that other channel, that Amazon channel. We'll talk. We'll have like a tech talk, and we'll talk about some
Maybe
gear.
do a
That would be fun.
simulcast. So we go live on his channel. We go live on our
Yeah.
channel. Break
Yes.
the internet.
Let's do it.
Yes,
Let's do
that
it.
sounds good. Well, awesome.
Awesome.
Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll actually have an in-person camera shot this weekend. We'll see what happens.
Oh.
If we can make that the logistics happen. But yeah, Chris P Giles, thank you so much for joining us today. Always fun to get to talk with you, and it's even more fun, right, with the video, because I think it all started with Clubhouse, and audio's okay, but I like to see people's faces.
Yep. Man, it's so good. Thanks for having me, guys. This is amazing. Hopefully, we can get Lim back in here and get the bros back together for real.
Let's do it. Let's get Ringo back. Thanks again, Chris. And as always, for those that are still here and hanging out with us, we appreciate it. And as always, don't fear the gear.